some hip rotations. So this one here, you're kind of in a crab position. You're coming up onto a toe. You want to rotate outward. So you're trying to point your heel up at the ceiling as much as you can, and then inward as much as you can. So heel is up, and doing five rotations back and forth, in and out. It's a case where inward, this rotation is something that we typically lose, and it leads to more hip trouble later on if you lose that internal rotation. And then that leads us into the shin box switches. So this would be the shin box here. It's like the 90-90, but you're more pulled in. Your feet are going to stay put. And as we do the switch, you want to exhale through this position and land upright on the opposite side. So your goal is to sit nice and tall as possible here. Ideally, both sit bones would be on the ground. If people can't do that, you can lean back and use your hands to get through it. Just make sure you return to the position in the middle. And over time, you can use less assistance with your hands on that. And you can also intensify it that way with the hands. So now I'm intentionally pushing my chest forward more. I'm getting a little deeper rotation there. The basic shin box switch, and this actually helps you get into that upright position a lot if you do an elevated version. So when you do your transfer, and this is going to hurt a little bit on the hard mats here, you're popping up, opening the hips. This gives you a bit of stretch to the hip flexors and the groin. When you lower down, you're trying to stay as upright as possible before you do the switch. And what you'll find is doing that will let you settle into a better position here. You'll be more vertical, and this raised hip is going to get lower to the ground by doing that. And then I'll show this one. This is one, I do this sometimes in the mobility class. It's kind of a little more advanced one, but I like to put flexibility into motion. So the pigeon position, which a lot of people won't be able to do a real good one at first. We definitely do the static pigeon, but the pigeon walk is essentially you're going to roll over the leg forward, and then so you're moving. There's a lot of hip flexor in that, yeah. A lot of people you'll find, in a pigeon, they're going to be way forward because they don't have the ability to open here. The key is that your hands do the support, the foot stays put, no twisting on the knee. There's no torque on the knee here, my weight's here. I'm just sliding forward and landing in the next position. The way I like to work kind of in deeper on this is have them lay so the thigh should be fully on the ground. I mean, it can be way over on their side, and this can be wherever it needs to be. And I like to use kind of a dynamic prying movement. So you're trying to turn this hip down. And I like the dynamic, a couple second back and forth as opposed to just hanging out there. I'll show what it is, how you might scale it, because not everyone can do this right away. So you're going to be maybe a little wider than your normal squatting stance. You're coming down to your squat, you're going to shift all your weight. We'll go to the right when we do this, so all your weight's on your right foot. Your left foot, the inside edge is going to stay down. You're not coming up on your toes here. And with all the weight here, no twisting on the knee, you're simply dropping that to the ground and sitting in. You should be midfoot or heel here. This lifts back up, transfer the weight, drop the other side. So you should be able to smoothly work back and forth in this. The more flexible you are, the lower your hips stay through the whole movement. If somebody can't do this, you can use hands as sort of training wheels there. Makes it quite a bit easier. Because if your hips are tight, just a few reps, rest. Work into it, more volume over time. You can also throw in an outward rotation where you come up on the outside edge of your foot, gets the groin in, so out, in, out, in. A little additional variation, the shin roll is a combined movement, and I really like for the lower leg ankle. So it's the basic position, your toe stays anchored, you essentially point the toe and then you swing this knee to the foot and you roll over and sit on your leg. You roll across it Back, same thing, other side. Last one, so inside squats. Some knee prehab stuff, kind of just keep taking the knees outside of their normal range of motion, just kind of essentially outside squats. Very few reps, use your hands if needed.